Now notice this C program. This C program generates exactly this assembly language for an HCS08, but it's a little different to C programs you may have done in the past. Notice this says void main void. And in the past you've used integer main void and you returned a 0. And the 0 was the integer that was talking about here in integer main void. And why were you returning a 0? And where were you returning a 0 more to the point? You're returning a 0 back to the operating system once this program terminates. And the 0 says that your program has terminated properly. But in this case, it's different. It says void main void. And why is it saying void main void? Because you're not returning anything because there's no operating system to return to, because the stuff that's between this bracket and this is your operating system. That means every time you turn on the microcontroller, it executes this code. Every time you hit the reset, it re-executes this code. And one of the things you'll find, since this is sort of an operating system, you should never let it get past this last bracket. So there should be no returns, nothing that's going to let it continue on past this point. That's why we have this forever endless loop. Now you can have it either do a number of instructions and sit in an endless loop here, or you can have a whole bunch of instructions being executed forever in a big loop. Those are the two possibilities that you've got. Now notice some other strange things here. We got char A, and you're used to using integer A. Now for an 8-bit microcontroller like the HCS08, what you're going to find is an integer is 4 hex digits. And this 74 is the same as the 4A, because 4 times 16 plus 10 is 74. Now if you used integer, instead of saying load 4A, you'd be loading 004A, which is just a waste of memory when you only have 2K to work with for your variables. And the 2C here that you've got represents the 44. And again, if you had an integer here, it'd be 002C, which is, again, you're using up 4 hex digits worth of memory space instead of 2 to do your stuff. And when you're working with an 8-bit machine, you have to be forced into using char for any numbers from 0 to 255. And notice here, we're also storing what we added to address 80. And address 80 is represented by A, because A as a variable is really just a storage location in RAM memory. So these are some of the concepts you should keep in mind as you start programming in C for a microcontroller.